Welcome to another edition of the Resilient Living Podcast, a show dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and planet through liberation and independence, moving from surviving to thriving and living life on your own terms. All right, people, we're talking about financial crashes. We're talking about survival rant of financial crashes. And I wanted to do this one today because I've been following a lot of smart people and I'm kind of getting concerned about what's going on out there. And you might be as well. And this is just one man's opinion coming live from his pickup truck on his work commute from his F-350 mobile studio, so forgive the background noise. Yeah, I just want to jump into it today. We're born into never doing without is my first thought that I had today. And I think we've had a lot of good runs. We've had a lot of good stuff happening since the 80s, the 90s. We've had a very productive economy. And sure, we've had some ups and downs and stuff like that, but coming from a third world country, well, not born into a third world country, but noticing, living, and seeing how people actually do without. The minimalistic approach to life, the abundance that we have, we never we've never done really without. And when I say without, people, in America, I know we have listeners from all over the world, but here in America, there's always, you turn on the water on the tap, you squeeze a little nozzle and water comes out all the time. So we have abundance of food at the grocery stores. If you're hungry, you can go down the street here in the United States, right? At least in San Diego County and Los Angeles, where I've grown up, and you can literally find money laying in the street. Not a lot, but probably enough. If you went to enough exits walking down the sidewalk, you'd actually scrounge up enough change to probably buy yourself a $1 cheeseburger or something. Where in the world are you going to find something like that? We've had abundance. We were born into abundance and never knowing what it is to do without. And I just want to say, all the scare and all the worries and stuff that's out there, guys, I don't think we're going to die. I think that life could get hard if we have a huge financial crash, as people are talking about right now, and also a lot of talk about the Great Reset and things like that, which is concerning. It says I have no idea what we have going on, what the future holds. And I think that a lot of the people using these scare tactics and their YouTube videos and stuff talking, nobody knows either. So what I gather this from is, let me just name drop a few people. I listen to a lot of George Gammon, the Rebel podcast. What the heck is the Rebel Capitalist podcast, right? You got Peter Schiff. You've got the Stansberry Report. We've got Robert Kiyosaki. We have real estate investors such as Ken McElroy. So in the balance of listening to a lot of diversification of where people are coming from, where the ideas are with the stock markets and things like that, you kind of piece things together to find out that a lot of this is speculation. A lot of people don't know, but there's a lot of important stuff that's pointing towards, hey, we can hit a crash. The word is what, like my next note here is, what is our current situation? Nobody knows what our current situation is. So gathering from many people, besides the names I just shared with you guys here today, what I've gathered there is that we are headed towards some sort of flux. We have quantitative tightening that's going on now. Well, we had quantitative easing. We have all this financial lingo that I think a lot of people don't understand, and me included. I don't understand them 100%, but I start to understand when I listen and I study about economics and things like that. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now that is pointing towards March to April after the first quarter of 2022 here of what's going to go down. There could be nothing. There could be a significant of a drop in stock market due to the Feds, the government raising interest rates to try to do quantitative tightening, easy meaning all the money printing and things that they're doing. The economy can't stay doing what it's doing. They've basically been kicking the can down the road for a really long time. And that basically means the can is the problem. They kick it down the road where you can't see it. And as you keep traveling, you keep running up to it. So they just keep kicking it and kicking it and kicking it. We have a lot of people that aren't wanting to work right now in the United States. And I'm looking at labor shortages everywhere. And I don't know how people are surviving. And I would just like to say, guys, for those of you who are just surviving, not thriving, if you're getting stimmy checks and things like that, you guys might want to reconsider. Those of you who are able to work, you're screwing up your credit. You're screwing up your life. You may think that you're getting a free ride right now, but for the long game, I don't know. I don't understand. I would love somebody to sit me down and show me what the benefit is And what are all these people expecting? Why they're not working? Why they just chose to sit back and do, I don't know what they're doing. Hopefully at least working for cash or something, but if you're not in the system, which I'm saying, guys, I'm not for the system. I despise the system. It's a freedom-taking evil vampire. But if you're not playing in the system, if you're not hybridizing yourself to understand to live in both worlds, because, seriously, people, if we don't want to live with money, you need to ditch your cell phone, you need to ditch your car, you need to ditch everything. You need to start producing everything you need, like your own moccasins, right? Your own teepee, your own bow and arrows, using sinew to tie a piece of flint to the end of a stick, right? Make yourself a spear to protect yourself and learn how to light fire with 2 rocks. If you're not going to do that, we're in the system. There's no getting away from making money and taxes and things like that. In fact, the whole financial reset is total control of a digital currency that's going to see every single thing, every transaction that you do, where they can manipulate how you spend your money, where you spend your money, how you acquire money, everything. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, am I just shooting off the hip here? Am I just pissing in the wind when I would think that the powers that be, there's no way that they would ever want to control everything, especially the financial matters. You control the food, you control the water. If you can control the money, you have everything. Everything. The only thing they're not controlling is the oxygen, because we're not living on Mars yet. I can imagine it would be, well, we're shutting off your oxygen, right? You got better comply. So this is a very strange thing. Our current position right now. The second note or third note that I have is, where do we go from here? To me, a simple life, simple living, essential living, buying only what's essential. Living the way I have in South America, in a third world country, living the way I do now. We don't really buy anything that's non-essential. We don't go out there buying big screen TVs and things like that. We live almost, I never really realized, people. It's I would say radically simple, very simple, to where it flips heads, where people are like, what the heck is going on? Like, we're total Tico style. For those of you who don't know, that's the indigenous people of Costa Rica. They call them Ticos. South America, same thing, dirt floors and stuff like that. We're living high on the hog, especially from friends. And Dean over there from China shares some information, which I love hearing about the way they live. I love the idea of their tiny houses with everything in the floor. It's just awesome. Those I've never even thought of anything like that. It's genius. But the way people live in other parts of the world is so much different, and we're bringing that into the United States on a harder level. Me and my family. So if the point I want to make here is that if the crap hits the fan, we're actually doing just fine. Nothing really changed. I mean, there could be a few things where rent goes up and stuff like that, but as far as, I think, suffering because of an economic crash, I think a lot of people have it backwards. I think it's a big game of fools. So we have some people, a certain amount, that want to make millions of dollars. We have these investors, these people that I listen to, and they get all their feathers all ruffled up. Like, what are we going to do? We could have deflation, we could have inflation, we'd have them both at the same time. We could have hyperinflation. And a lot of this goes onto the material possessions and the amount and the money and things that you're acquiring, because that's being grinded to a halt, possibly, right? Or it's being affected. It's being disturbed. But if we look at being human beings on the planet, we are of the earth. The earth is of us. We are of it, and we can go hunt. We can forage. We can make things. The soil is what rejuvenates our bodies, right? And we're fooled because the other side of the people are buying into the whole money, the curtain, the veil of money, which is printed. Why would you kill each other? Why would you kill yourself? Why would you spend your whole entire life chasing something that the banksters, well, not necessarily the banksters, but the feds and everybody else, that the government could just print? They could just print as much as they want. Now, obviously, that's what they do. And I think a lot of you guys probably don't know that, and the number's probably gone higher since, but about 45% of the currency, of the money, to make this simple, that's existed in the United States, 45% of that, I believe, if my numbers are correct, has been printed in 2020. Between 2020 and I think in 2021. 45%, 40 to 45%, guys, of the money that ever existed was printed. That's almost half the money was printed in a year. Now, this is something that people are killing each other for. These are things that people are working and giving their lives happily for. We don't understand the way money is working. I don't claim to understand that I know 100% about the way money is working, but I do understand how it's printed. I do understand how it goes into circulation. I understand about quantitative easing and quantitative tightening. I'm learning a lot more every single day, and the more and more I look at this, it's just crazy to sit and spend a lifetime understanding. And the elites of the elites that are investors and things, they're always the big top guns, guys. They all sit down and they talk about things. They get a group discussion. A lot of these people continually study about inflation and what happened back in the 30s and the 20s, back in 2008. They constantly are on this move. When I look at what would I replace these things with, and what do the rest of us do who don't understand these things and don't have the time to sit and spend hours upon hours of days understanding this language that just seems like it's crazy. It's like philosophy, right? And mathematics, everything all rolled into one. And it's its own language, and if you don't understand it, you fall through the cracks. So when I look at it, to battle inflation, to battle all of this craziness, the reset and everything, is not really have to own so much stuff. If you can go down for a while, I mean, even if you wanted to get rich, even if you wanted to buy a home or things of that nature, go down like many people have. I keep mentioning Elon Musk lived in his office. It sounds like he said he ate hot dogs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, bathed sometimes in the bathroom sink or at the gym membership, to save on money. It almost went broke doing what he was doing. But his strategy was to go down to the bare, extreme, minimalistic living situation so that he can get to where he needs to get, to what he wants to do. Yet I think a lot of businesses and a lot of individuals in our life here, especially in the 2022 and beyond, behind in the times, if you look at over and over the repetitiousness of this, is a lot of people want to have the house, the cars, and all that stuff, and they also want to be rich, right? They're overextending themselves. So now we're faced with a situation where I think that overextension of goods and services and just this booming run that we've had, if it gets halted in any way, people are going to suffer. But I'm here to tell you guys, you're not going to die, right? You are going to suffer. If the crap hits the fan, like people say, we are going to suffer. But you know what? I think it's a good thing because it makes us enjoy life and respect things a heck of a lot better. I think this whole COVID thing has been bringing out the essential feelings in people that I'm not my house. I'm not my car. Life starts with me. Life is not my money. Life is not the appearance that I am to everybody else. Life is what is housed in my heart and inside my mind, the way I feel about myself, the way I feel about other people. I think that this whole thing is shaking us up, and I think it's for a good thing. Now, how do we hedge against all of this, guys? What do we do? What do we exactly do? It's in a bag. To sum this all up, this rant, I think that we all should take consideration of minimalizing our lives to the fullest extent. I think to start becoming producers of our life. You see, we're consumers, and that's all the fuss and the cuss and the worry is that a lot of our food supply, right, is going to be dismantled, right? It's going to get disrupted. And a lot of you guys don't know that a lot of us are sitting ducks. The grocery stores only carry about a good 2 to 3 days worth of food. If everybody panic shopped, if something just collapsed, they'd wipe it all out. Then there'd be nothing left. So we're at the mercy of our supply chain system, no matter at where you are at in the world, unless you are practicing such things as natural farming, permaculture, basically producing a lot of your own food, your own fibers, your wood, your fuels, your energy. The more and more that we can get down to living a sustainable, more, in my mind, I talked about this before, a more resilient life, the better off we are going to be. And we can start to invest in these sort of things here, and we can start to, as I say, progress from being a consumer to a producer as much as we can. Can we do 100%? To me, I'm like, that's like some major work, and I think that you need a lot of people to produce 100% of everything that you want to produce. But even then, you still can't, right? How are you going to go mine plastics and stuff like that? How are you going to make your own cell phone, internet, things, depending on how you want to situate your life? Even the bare minimum, if you want to produce all your own energy, there's still infrastructure, right? You still have to spend money on replacing your solar batteries, your solar panels, If you're doing hydropower, wind power, all of the alternators and the motors and things, they need grease. Everything needs a little bit of money to keep up that infrastructure. We need to understand these things. Otherwise, we are going to continue to fall and continue to be sitting ducks. I don't know about you guys, but I'm done, I think, vocalizing my mind outside of this podcast here to people around me, because it just seems like they don't get it. They're chasing that dollar bill. It reminds me of the CD of the band I grew up with, Nirvana, right? Kurt Cobain. The band's Nevermind album has a little kid in a pool, and they have $1 on a fish hook, and the little kid's swimming towards the fish hook with, trying to grab the dollar. That's what I see most people. And they're printing all this money and just throwing it at people. Just throwing it out into the economy to save their own rear ends and to save the economy from collapsing. And we're just right on the tip. And a lot of people are freaking out, and they very well should be. But what if you had everything you need? Or what if you had most of what you need, right? Could we live without refrigeration? I think so. We've done it as a past as a society. It's an extreme. But let's just say that the economy collapsed, or you didn't have the money to replace your batteries or buy a new freezer or fridge. I think you can still make do if you're producing a lot of your own food. So these are the things, guys, that I look at to empower ourselves to get out of the system. We didn't get here overnight. We're not going to get out of here overnight. So it takes a lot of plans and implementations, and I believe that's what this show is all about. That's my life. That's what I'm looking towards for my family and for my self-well-being, is to be the type of person more and more every day where I gain more freedom instead of losing my freedoms. And I become less dependent on the system in any way, fashion, form that I can. And to join others, or to invite others to come and do the same, to share ideas, to share blueprints, to share the bounties and the ideas, right? It all comes from ideas. It comes from working against the grain. What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to replace this whole system with, right, if we stop? I think a lot of people are scared because they don't know what to do. It's like, well, the economy, basically I was saying about coronavirus, or the cerveza sickness, I guess it might, oh God, we might get booted off, for free speech here. If they do, I'll just remake this video. But a lot of people are realizing, I think, as I said, that this is not them. This system, a lot of people are fooled, still thinking that, hey, this is all that is. This is all that we got. We got to do something. If the system collapses, I collapse too. No, it's not necessarily. It's if you create your own system. If you can create your own way of being, your own way of living, your own way of production, and then that frees you from the system to be able to be mobile, to be able to do whatever it is that you want and live that life that you want to live instead of the life that's chosen for you. So guys, I don't know what more to say. This is just a rant. I kind of just shooting off the hip here. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, but I don't know. I hope that it went over well. All right, guys, that's the show. I want to thank you guys, each and every one of you, for taking the time out and being here today. And if you guys can, give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. If you did give me a thumbs down, please let me know why. I love to hear all your guys' opinions, but it really helps me out. That's all I'm asking, is if you guys like and share, comment on the show. It helps the algorithms for this show to get known. That's what's going to keep the lights on around here. So guys, there's an email down below in the description. If you guys want to make any comments, just say hello, give any suggestions. And as I always say, guys, go out there and have yourself a near-life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. And human up, my friends.